Welcome to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. Each month, we'll feature business and community leaders sharing their stories, initiatives, concerns, and passions. Learn practical information regarding community resources and opportunities. Now, the host of Business Voice, Greece Regional Chamber President and CEO, Sarah Lentini.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Spectrum Reach. I am your host, Sarah Lentini, and also the President and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber. And I'm very delighted to welcome my first guest on today's show, Jeffrey Motter of Spectrum Reach. Welcome, Jeff.
Thanks for having us today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, we love that you're on. And, of course, you've been on before. But you guys are ramping it up in a big way, it seems, when it comes to efforts to support small business, of course, not just here, but across the country. And I'd love to hear, and I'm sure our listeners would love to hear what you guys have going on in support of small business. I know you've got a big Rebuild My Town initiative, correct?
No, absolutely, and thank you for letting us speak about that. We're working with businesses across the country, like you're saying, are looking at navigating what comes next. So local businesses are looking for vested caring partners with the right information and resources to help weather the ongoing uncertainty that we're facing. So we've done a lot of things, like why we have launched this, Rebuild My Town, which is an educational series, is to help our local businesses grow with the best content, insights, product, and people that are around. An example of Rebuild My Town is more than just advertising. It's a commitment to help our communities and local businesses to come together. And so we have teamed up with some names that you might really recognize, like Chip and Joanna Gaines, Marcus Lemonis, Bethany Frankel, and Damon John.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, Chip and Joanna Gaines are big celebrities. Those are big names. So what did you do with them?
Well, basically, we targeted them out. They actually were on a couple calls with us that we've had that clients and potential clients could get on, where they got a chance to talk about where their roots were. You know, they have extensive backgrounds in local business startup, so it was great to listen to them and give us some feedback and just in general just talk about. And they have, of course, some new things coming in their side of the fence as well. But it was great to have them and actually be part of our rebuild our local town.
Mm-hmm. Great initiative, and so nice that Spectrum Reach and Spectrum are really stepping in to try to help business during what is, of course, an incredibly challenging time, continues to be an incredibly challenging time for business. So one of the things I'd love to have you talk a little bit about is Spectrum. There's Spectrum Reach, and then, of course, there's Spectrum, right? Spectrum, the cable company. Yep. And you're not two different companies. You're connected to each other. Could you just explain that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. We're certainly attached. Our charter is our family company, our base company, and out of that, under charter, there's different groups of people that actually we all work together for charter. But actually, the Spectrum News or the Spectrum cable side, actually what they do is all the residential and the business-to-business kind of things with your internet, and they also do your digital and HD services that go right into your home or actually into your business. What we really do is we're an arm of Charter again, but we are under the Spectrum umbrella, where we go out, of course, on those networks, on those on the internet, everything else. We actually sell solutions to clients and use our products that we have through Spectrum to help us and help them grow their local businesses. Which
is terrific, because that's, speaking of reach, Spectrum Reach, you know, you guys have enormous reach. Just talking about cable alone, right? Talking about all the different television networks, right? So if I were to come to you, I'm a small business, and I want to get my name out there, what are the sorts of things that you can offer me?
Well, there's lots. Like, certainly, there's all the different news networks that you're certainly seeing right now, especially Spectrum News, our own backyard product here that we have that actually you can get out very local news, great stories, great information about the Rochester area. You know, we also have sports. We have weather channels. We have, all just some kind of flavor, different kind of programming. We know the holidays are coming up, the Hallmark channels and that kind of thing, but we also have digital products, too, that actually help and extend our reach. So we not only reach a large area, like we reach all of Rochester with all these products, but we can also reach individual, we call zones or zip codes, with these different products we have, from search words to display ads on digital to streaming video, which is the new buzzword that you're hearing a lot of, that a lot of people are like, driving toward right now. They have apps on their phones, or they have on their TVs, or even at work. Hopefully not a lot of people work, but they're streaming a lot of video, and it gives us an opportunity to get in front of people with the right message, and then we take our data that then helps us infuse basically them on the right places to be.
So lots of digital marketing opportunities in addition to broadcast opportunities. So a company could place ads on any number of stations, all along the television and cable dial is what I'm hearing, correct? And then then you've got all kinds of digital and some evolving digital opportunities. So what was that, streaming video?
Yeah, streaming video is, even with our news product, we have a new streaming app right now, our Spectrum News app. But streaming video is something that is really, a lot of people are using that. They use it in addition to, like, we know that 78% of the people use streaming and they use our linear TV together, like all that together. But we know that specifically with streaming video that you can watch whatever you want to watch, when you want to watch, where you want to watch it at. So it's the content that you can actually long form or shorter form, half an hour, 3-hour movies. It's whatever you want to watch. We can be there with that.
So streaming video is like video on demand.
Yeah, streaming video is like exactly. That is exactly. It can even be live at sometimes, like a sporting event, but it's actually mainly it's the on-demand. Like you can go and actually pick out what you want. You missed those episodes of last night of a certain show that you want to watch, like a Chip and Joanna Gaines show. Hey, I want to watch that. And you can binge watch on HGTV's app, or you can binge watch on our on-demand product.
Great. And so it's like the programming that's on demand on Spectrum now, but then it's extended to other kinds of video products that might not be broadcast as well. They might not be broadcast on TV, but they may be broadcast in other places.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, any screen, any time, we can get in front of people.
Wow. So it sounds like a very broad range of opportunities. And I think when you were here last time, you described that you're able to target very specifically and you started to say that just a minute ago, in fact, that you can target. So if I'm a business and I want to reach people in a different geography, say, because maybe I've got a new satellite office that I'm opening, whether it's across town or across the country, you could help me target that audience. Is that right?
Absolutely. We have been consistently committed to investing in advertising technology to build a smarter way for businesses to grow. And we take our set-top box data that actually tells us what people are watching, and we take that with third-party data to combine that. Maybe you're going to go and you're looking to buy a new car, and we can then match that up and actually make sure that we're not wasting impressions. Mm-hmm. That's the new term that you hear a lot these days, is like we want to make sure that we get the right impressions in front of the right people, and the data helps us drive that. And so data, the good reach that we have, and then in the end is the transparency where we show them like 24 hours a day somebody can have access to how they're doing with their campaigns, and so they can measure the results. That's so great. It's taking that all through data and technology. That's
great. It's incredible what you're able to do, and you in particular, Spectrum Reach in particular, is able to do with today's technology. In case you're just joining us, you're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Spectrum Reach. I'm Sarah Lentini, your host and the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber. And we've been talking with Jeffrey Motter, who is in charge of sales for Spectrum Reach. It's possible you're in charge of even more than that, but I'm pretty sure you're in charge of sales. Is that right, Jeff?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct, yes. Uh-huh.
Wonderful. Yep. And so you were, telling us about the ability to really target very carefully, both on TV as well as through digital marketing strategies, target customers. And you started talking about the fact that you can also track results. Can you talk a little more about that? Because people are so interested in knowing what the results of any advertising dollar they spend is, and having a sense of, what the return on investment will be. And it sounds like you're able to really provide that.
Yeah, certainly will. We call it Audience Track. It's our own platform where we actually are able to take, you can look and see when your spots are going to run the next day. You can actually go and look, and it tells you, how many people might have clicked on a certain campaign or watched the video for how long, and it gives feedback back to our customers immediately within 24 hours, basically, of a turnaround that they can look at and get online and have their own link to their own information. So they're constantly able to monitor their campaigns and see what the success is. They can see that maybe I'm running something for the holiday season with a certain copy, and they can see a spike, and they can see that. And so it helps them, and it helps us when we show them the transparency, that we're really showing them exactly what they're getting and what their return on their investment is by showing them how well their campaign is performing, or what we can do to tweak that by using this dashboard kind of thing.
That's great. So they can see everything, and it sounds like they're able to see the campaign results in real time, which is really fantastic. And then it sounds like you can tweak along the way, too, so you're not locked in. If you are seeing that something isn't going maybe exactly as you wanted, and you want to see whether a tweak will give you some kind of different result, you're able to do that as well. Is that right?
Absolutely. What we really want to do is it's like going to the gym. 1 month, you don't go to the gym for a month and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm in shape. Right. But it's over time, we're able to take this information and data and come out and say, wait a minute, it looks like we're seeing some traction here with this spot, but this other spot, we could do something different. And also, most of the time, we're getting access to Google Analytics, and that we can get even more data to help support, people seem like they're going to your websites more whenever we're showing this spot. So it's able to dig a lot deeper, and it gives people that want to really dig deep into what they're doing and doing that and make adjustments on the fly. We can do that. Wonderful.
And let's talk a little bit about price, because this all sounds great, but it has the potential to sound very potentially out of reach, very pricey. Is it affordable? Can it be made affordable to people with different budgets?
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people get in the past have thought, okay, it's got to be TV, or it's going to be streaming, or we call it multi-screen, where we're hitting multiple screens with one product. It actually can be as much as somebody wants to. It's making an investment, but we have people that spend lots of money on that because their business size. But we have other people that are, like I said, with our data and things, we're able to take smaller budgets. Mm-hmm. It can be $500, $1,000 a month that we can take to $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. It really depends on that individual client. We can customize it, and then it's just setting good results with people, like return on investment, like knowing that, once again, I talk about the gym thing all the time because that's going to happen this year. What happens in January, New Year's resolution, right, when everybody's talking about going to the gym. Well, you just can't do it for a month. You have to do it for a couple of months so that you can build up on that. But if you invest more, you'll get results quicker. If you invest less, you still get results, but it might be over a longer extended period of time. But we can work with customers on basically, we identify their needs, and then we build plans and solutions to fit those.
That sounds great. That's really important, I think, for people to know that there's a lot of flexibility in the way in which you work with businesses, and so they don't have to have a mega $1 million budget to get involved with getting the word out there through the various technologies and opportunities that you have. So let's talk a little bit more about Rebuild My Town, because it seems like that's a big umbrella initiative that's got some specific strategies under it. Are you mentioned the sessions with Chip and Joanna Gaines. Are there other aspects? I believe that there's a mosaic as well, right, that you have been involved with?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because we're part of Rebuilding Our Town. We have a mosaic that it's basically we're supporting our local businesses this holiday season with a fun, virtually mosaic that visually unites small businesses, large businesses, any size business in our communities, and serves as an interactive directory that local consumers can explore, and this is all free. And, the campaign's going to actually run from 11:30 to 12:31, and businesses still add their business information to the local directory. It's just something that we really we decided we really wanted to do, and it's going to be it's really cool. It has the backdrop of the Rochester a bridge and everything else in the background, and then you'll have these pictures that businesses have been putting on for the last couple of weeks, and they can go and look at those businesses, or they can go to the free directory, and actually they can look up local businesses are looking. If they want to look up maybe a restaurant they're looking for to take their family for the holiday, or some kind of special gift or something they're looking at, they can go to this directory, and it really is about supporting our local community and our local businesses that are around our Rochester area.
That's great. So businesses have submitted photographs, images, and also signed up to be in this online free directory, business directory for the community, right?
That is correct.
Which is very nice. And then they've been sending you images. So you're taking all these images and you're creating one big mosaic picture, right? Is it known? Are you free to share with us what the image will be? Was it going to be? I thought I heard it was going to be an iconic image that an image of Rochester, an iconic image of Rochester. Is that for public consumption,
it's a picture of the downtown with the canal and the bridge, and you'd certainly be recognizable to our community once they see it. And it's so cool. All these pictures that I'm talking about will be part of that mosaic, and that will be able to pop out when people click on it. It's pretty cool. It's something that the technology and things that they're using to build this is just. It's just pretty phenomenal.
I can't wait to see it. It sounds great. And a big picture, a big, beautiful picture of Rochester full of all of its history and culture and imagery. I mean, image is such an important word for Rochester.
Yes.
Is bound to be, is bound to be a real jewel, a really nice thing to be celebrating right now. So is there going to be, was I understanding you correctly, is there going to be the ability to click on a piece of the mosaic and have something open up?
Yes, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's we actually put some of our own employees. You'll see some of our employees' pictures on there. You might see somebody with their dog, or somebody it's lighthearted pictures. Some of your local business fronts. It's really up to them what picture they wanted to put on for this, and it's going to be really neat. It's something that if you haven't experienced something like this before, I really highly recommend going that and checking it out.
So, is this an image and a site that technically anybody in the country or maybe even the world could go to, or?
Absolutely. If they go to visit, if you visit rebuildmytown.com, when this is all said and done, it's certainly, and there's other information on there as well about those speakers and things as well. So if you go, once again, it's just rebuildmytown.com is where you can go, and you can register for the different seminars that we have with upcoming speakers, and also see the mosaic in the future here.
That's great. And before I let you go, I just want to know, is this also being done, therefore, in other communities across the country? Is there a chance to go visit another community doing this? Check them out?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can actually ask for check out different markets. You can check out that the Rebuild is a website that you can go to, and you can see different markets and different mosaics in different areas. But of course, cool. We're going to be very attached to the Rochester one.
Absolutely, no, of course, and we're delighted that you're putting such a spotlight on Rochester and all of its great business community. But even for businesses, it could be very interesting to check out what's going on in other markets. And some of our local businesses do have, presences in other markets, or perhaps are looking to build presences in other markets. So that has it's actually got its utilitarian side as well. But I think you said this earlier, but it's up. Is it up now in some? Can people go now?
It's not going to be up. It's up. Actually, we're looking at November 30th is when it's going to start through 12/31. So it's going to be basically the whole month of December.
Okay. So if we want to catch this, we've got to go on basically in the month of December, correct?
Correct. That's correct. Yep, they're still working through it and getting everything, all the pictures and things together. But even after that time period, that people still can get on the free directory if they want to put their business on the free directory.
That's great. So maybe it even, I don't know if you guys have decided this yet, but maybe it even provides a platform for, an additional image in the future, additional events? Because I know you guys sound like you're quite committed to, you've always been champions of small business and business in general, but I know you're particularly interested in ramping up activities right now to help in this tough economy, right?
No, absolutely. That's what we're really looking at. I mean, if I got a sec, I can tell you a success story that we're having with one of the businesses that's local here.
That'd be great.
Renault by Anderson is a client who's been working with us the past year, and they have seen great growth by with us working on by connecting with them through local events first. Our account executive was able to develop a relationship with Christine through shared interests, and when the shutdown happened, they continued to meet and work on developing an even stronger campaign than before. And we used all of our great resources to dig deep into the home improvement category in Rochester through our research and insights. And upon review, a strategic plan based on the research results was developed and implemented, which has generated great results every month for them. And through being local, becoming their BFF, and offering our expert advice, we have developed an amazing partnership with Renault that we're excited to keep growing in 2021, and we can do that for a lot of other businesses too.
Oh, yeah. Well, that sounds great. Well, I'm excited for you guys and excited for the Rochester business community and community as well, because it's a great resource for the general public. It's a great resource for business, and of course, a great way to celebrate Rochester. And we need celebrating right now. Absolutely need celebrating. Right. So thank you so much, Jeffrey Motter from Spectrum Reach. We so appreciate your coming on again and joining us here today on Business Voice to tell us the latest. You guys have certainly been very busy and have exciting projects that you're working on, and we've got to go to that website in December. What's the website again, Jeff?
The website is rebuildmytown.com.
Rebuildmytown.com. Thanks again. Jeffrey Motter, Spectrum Reach. You got to come back again soon and tell us how this mosaic turned out and what's coming up next down the pike.
I certainly appreciate that, Sarah, and thank you for having us again. Much appreciated.
Very, very welcome. All right, don't go away. I'm going to be right back with our next guest. Don't flip that dial.
Need help with health insurance? The Greece Regional Chamber provides assistance with health insurance for businesses, nonprofits, families, and individuals throughout our region. We pride ourselves on the personalized service that we provide for our clients. Let us help you find health insurance plans that fit your needs and navigate the paperwork. Greece Chamber Benefit Partners, located at 2402 Westridge Road in Rochester, New York, offers a broad range of medical insurance plans for businesses, nonprofits, individuals, and families throughout the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region, working with insurance companies including Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield, Univera, and MVP Healthcare. We can also help you access insurance plans through the New York State of Health, the official health plan marketplace. Again, you do not need to live or work in Greece to utilize our brokerage services. We serve the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region of New York State. Visit greecechamber.org to sign up for one of our free health insurance information sessions or schedule an appointment with one of our licensed brokers. Call 585-227-7272. 585-227-7272.
From coast to coast, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf. At Spectrum Reach, we make local businesses big and big brands look local. With the best content, insights, products, and people. Be on every screen with that one idea you need to turn a consumer into your customer. We're the most trusted media partner in America. And we're also your neighbors. Welcome to Spectrum Reach. Let us show you around the neighborhood. Grow your business. Go to SpectrumReach.com to get started.
WYSL. Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce sponsored by Spectrum Reach. I'm Sarah Lentini, your host and also the president and CEO of the Chamber, and we have a really special treat for us next. Coming up, I get to interview the owner of WYSL, the station that we're on, Bob Savage. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you so much. A special treat. No pressure here.
No pressure here. Special treat because, you're always asking everybody the questions. You're usually the interviewer, right? And so we're turning the tables a little bit on Bob, and it's going to be fun. I hope I don't let anybody down either, Bob. You know, the pressure is equally on me. So
Sarah, between the two of us, how can we go wrong?
How can we go wrong? So, you know, people may not realize that you are the owner of the station, but Bob Savage, a gentleman who has a very long and deep experience in radio broadcasting, sitting across from me, is the owner. And this is a great place. It's one of the last independently owned radio stations in the country, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah, we're an endangered species, no question about it.
Yeah. So I don't know how long have you owned the station? How long have you been running this thing?
Well, we put WYSL on the air in 1987, January 23rd. Oh, there's Alfie speaking up. I don't know what that's about. She's the radio dog. January 23rd, 87. And what is the? Oh, it's Paul Simonelli who's coming in to record. That's what's happening. See, it's like family radio here, folks. We have the dog in the studio, and people walk past the window, and things
wave.
They wave, and she wants to go out and see Paul.
Yeah, well,
but anyway, 87. So 33 years.
You know, thank God you did that for me. I embarrassingly couldn't have come up with that. So 33 years.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow,
huh?
no kidding. Yeah, I remember 87 like it was yesterday, which is really embarrassing.
You do?
I do. I'm afraid I do. So what were you doing before that? Because you were in broadcast before. You were a DJ, weren't you?
Long and checkered past here. 53 years in radio. I started on my 17th birthday. And until I took some time out, went to law school, got my law degree, passed the bar, did some telecommunications practice, did some general practice, which was not to my taste. And then kind of like veered back into broadcasting in the ownership side of things.
What a great experience, though. I mean, how wonderful to be an attorney. I imagine that comes in handy.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
I think much more than, you know, the earth is populated with enough attorneys right now. But, I mean, it's a great thing to have as an adjunct to something else that you're doing.
Yeah, just because, you know, life is filled with contracts and agreements and all sorts of other things that, you know, matter, you know, that connect to the legal profession.
Yeah.
So I think it's wonderful. And when you started, did you have, I don't think you had all three stations that you have now, right?
No.
So did you start out with the AM station?
We started out with the AM station, which was strategic. And the reason we applied for an AM daytime only station back in 87 on 1030 on the dial was it gave us a competitive preference for an FM channel in Avon, New York, which now has been reassigned to Fairport, New York. That is now Fickle 93.3. But we were the original licensees of that station, and we put it on 93.3, and that was in 93.
Huh. And you're now, just so people know, your AM station is 1040.
Right.
1040 is where you got to go on your AM dial, right? And now you've got two FM stations. What is it, 92.1
Yes.
FM and 95.5 FM?
Correct.
Yeah, and the 92.1 signal is out of Brighton. Mm-hmm. And the 95.5, which is your newest station, is out of Spencerport, correct?
Exactly. Look at you. Boy, you've got all this down.
Well, you know, a couple of years doing this and trying to tell people where to go to listen to the show is paid off, right? So those are great locations. That means you're covering quite a lot of ground. I mean, you did before, but I imagine now even better, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean, having those three stations?
Yeah, the combination of the signals, unduplicated audience, puts us over about 1.6 million people that we cover.
Wow.
So the AM, of course, is the big, you know, the big kahuna. That's the one that hits about 800,000 folks. And it's a huge coverage area because we're 20,000 watts on AM, and that covers all the way from northern Pennsylvania up into the St. Lawrence. And we have regular listeners across the big lake over in southern Ontario, too.
That's amazing. So the reach is well beyond the greater Rochester region.
Oh, yeah. About 3,000 square miles.
Oh, that's fantastic. And we were talking about how it's true. This is a charming, family-like little radio station on the one hand, right, where you've got Alfie the dog, barking at your feet and people coming in and waving as they go by the studio. But on the other hand, you've got this big reach. Did you say 1.6 million people? 1.6 million people, and you're cutting across the pond to Ontario, and you're You're going down into Pennsylvania, so that's quite a big reach. And yet you're also one of the last, remaining independently owned radio stations in the country. And what's the importance of that?
Well,
what
it's
does
interesting.
that mean?
It's very interesting because really, at the end of the day, the last men standing, that's a term of art, by the way. I mean, it would be men and women, obviously, are going to be the independent small broadcasters. Right now, big corporate radio is in a lot of trouble, because their main product is being stolen away from them. Their audience is being diverted by streaming services, by online, anything basically that plays music and is programmed on a corporate basis is really struggling. So you're seeing this model now where the big companies, with the exception of morning and afternoon drive, they're just going to go to corporate formats, kind of on the model of Pandora or maybe Sirius XM, where the programming originates from someplace other than the cities where stations are located. And that's really contrary to the nature of radio. Radio has always been a local medium.
WYSL, Avon, Rochester.
And you have the ability to create local content to talk about topics such as this show. This show is a great example of local content, locally tailored, local guests, and the sort of thing that you wouldn't get in a I don't even know what to call them, a big box radio station, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, radio's has always been a gathering place, and back in the music days of 60s and 70s, the music was the message. There was a lot of social change that was taking place. All the all the pop songs of that era described the sociology of that time. So that was where people gathered. That's kind of gone away now. As a matter of fact, the great top 40 format that I cut my teeth on.
I remember it well too.
Yeah, that's pretty much gone because that form of music doesn't exist anymore.
Huh. Well, I guess I didn't realize it was gone.
Yeah, it's kind of fractured into hip hop and dance and really the pop music of today is mostly country, really.
Isn't that interesting?
Because the pop stations back in the 60s and 70s were broad mass appeal stations. Yeah. So you had mom listening during the day, kids listened at night, everybody listened all the time. But that broad spectrum kind of pop music just doesn't really exist anymore.
Was that your original love, music?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a musician, but I love the music format, and I liked that again, that communal sort of sense that we're all kind of in this together.
It is a great unifier of music.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
It moves us emotionally and it binds us emotionally in a way that few things can, and it usually doesn't put us at odds with each other.
The universal language.
Some other languages can put us at odds with each other. So, but this station certainly has, an awful lot of talk in the format, right? An awful lot of talk shows, news information shows, and so that's also got to be a passion of yours, I imagine. And you're the voice of a lot of the shows, are you not? You're the interviewer.
Well, I appear on some of the shows. I'm actually trying to dial that back a little bit, so it's not me 24 hours a day. And now the non-repetitive nature of talk radio, the fact that people can tune in and they hear something different every day, maybe with a familiar voice hosting the proceedings, but you always want to have that variety going on because otherwise repetition really kills you.
Absolutely. Are you involved in covering, I know that you tend to, you've got talk shows that focus on political issues, so are you involved in covering some of what's happening with a chunk of your time? And do you do a lot of research? You're somebody who's very well read, very up on the issues, but I imagine it takes some energy to be, to be on top of your game, especially if you're going on air to talk about this stuff. Are you spending a lot of time reading?
Yeah, because I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of listening. I do a lot of watching. It's kind of more of an environmental osmosis, if you will. I am not like the typical show host. If I had my own show, I know that, for example, Jim Quinn, who's our morning guy, he gets up about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning to get ready for a 3-hour show. And the old rule of thumb was for every hour that you're on the air, you spend 2 hours in prep.
Wow.
So it may not literally be that. Because I'm running all aspects of the station, I don't have time to do all that research. But I'm up enough on things that I can do a 1 hour show, maybe.
Terrific. So as you look to the future, because you've been doing this, I don't remember, some incredible number of years, right?
50,
especially if we
53.
look at the entire broadcast, 50-some years,
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So do you have some things that you want to do? You mentioned dialing back on being, maybe the voice that everybody hears on many of the shows, but are there other things that you do want to get involved with? And have you thought about, is there a, and I don't know if you have children, is there a legacy? Is there a succession plan? Nobody wants you to leave anytime soon, by the way, but I mean, is there a way to make sure this station continues in the independent format that it has now? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, we've made some efforts in that regard. I mean, I'm not in a big rush to sell the place and move to move. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Move to Florida or anything like that. But obviously, I'm 70, so there has to be an exit at some point. Probably more of a transitional kind of thing.
Are there people on your staff that might be able to take it over, do you think?
There may be.
Yeah, that would be ideal, it would seem to me.
It could probably be a combination of somebody on the staff and maybe an outsider.
Yeah.
There's the things that we've explored, but nothing really has gelled yet. We've had offers to buy the station, but because we've had concerns that the format would not be, I don't want
just
this
be absorbed.
I don't want this to become like a Chinese station or whatever. I would hate to see that happen. Obviously, I don't have control over what happens once I leave.
Well, who does? Yeah. But, nobody has control. It's true. So now that we've put you in the uncomfortable position of thinking about, what happens when you leave, or the fact that there is a time when we all leave, right? Because you're not alone. We all leave. How did you start? Because you're from this area, aren't you? You're originally from right around here.
I'm from right here, as a matter of fact, where the station is located.
Oh, really?
I grew up in Livonia, New York. I started out, interestingly, in Spencerport, but we only lived there for a couple of years. I was just a little guy when we moved out here, and this is the town where I grew up. I bought the land. I didn't just buy WYSL, I built it.
Oh, wow.
And I bought the land from my high school algebra teacher, who had retired and gotten into she and her husband were dairy farmers, and then they got into real estate in their later years. So I bought this industrial land and built the station here back in 86, 87.
So building a station means investing in a ton of very expensive stuff, right?
Yeah, we were very efficient and smart about what we bought, and we kind of crawled before we walked, before we ran.
Who's
so
the we?
Editorial we. The licensee, Radio Livingston, that put the station on the air.
Oh. And so you had to learn a lot of stuff. I mean, because it isn't just the equipment, it's not even just the format and the programming, but also a lot of legal stuff. You mentioned getting licensed. I mean, that would be all, Greek to me, Greek to most of us. So is that just you taught yourself, you read, you learned? Did you have any mentors?
I did have a mentor. I had a guy who in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is where I was working for the Scripps Howard newspaper people. In Knoxville, I was running their station down there, WNOX. And the station was abruptly put on the block because they had owned the station since the 1930s, but they wanted to trade up to major markets. So I was looking around, and I thought there's a great law school here. And it's land-grant university, since I was a Tennessee resident, no tuition.
Awesome.
So I got my law degree in 2 years and 3 months for a grand total outlay of about $2,600
Fantastic.
For student fees and and books. But so I did practice FCC, did FCC work, and so it was a simple matter for me to get the license.
Did you kind of know in the back of your mind when you were doing all these things? Did you sort of have a vision of how you wanted to apply all that, or it just sort of happened?
No, it just happened.
It
was just a bunch of circumstances, kind of the long and winding road, if you will.
Yeah, and you're brave, right? I mean, you weren't scared to start something brand new in an arena that you really, right?
Brave. Is it brave or is it dumb?
Usually two sides of the same coin, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there is a certain amount of, there's a certain element of being maybe less than cautious, one could argue. But
a risk taker, certainly.
It takes some guts to start something brand new in an arena where you've got to learn so much, and where, you kind of had the odds against you, right? Because of all this big corporate stuff swirling around you that has become even more so since you started doing this. Right?
Well, it's funny. The format that evolved on WYSL put us squarely as competitors of WHAM, which is owned by the world's largest broadcasting company. So, I mean, would you plan to do it that way? Probably not. But that's kind of what That's what transpired. It's kind of like having a child, you know. If you knew what was involved, you probably never would have done it.
Right. But having said that, there's so much meaning and joy that is also involved in having a child, right?
You're right.
Along with some anguish, potentially, that at the end of the day, you're also pretty glad you did it. I hope you feel that way about WYSL.
Oh, I absolutely do. I think it's been a great ride, and we like to think that we've had a very positive influence on the community and also on the awareness of folks out there. We know that our listeners love us. There's no question about that. We're very grateful for that. Yeah. The support of, the phones ring in one day, and, we don't have a receptionist or a phone person here. So whoever's around just answers the phone line that's ringing, and you pick it up. And you hear, boy, I just want to say God bless you guys for what you do. You tell the truth. And we don't have a corporate mandate. We don't have people in San Antonio or Philadelphia looking over our shoulders and demanding that we do things a certain way. And that gives us a lot of flexibility. We can be very agile in the market.
And if I may, it's not just your listeners. I don't know that I can, claim to represent all of the people that come on your station and record shows and function as, in some way, shape, or form, your partners, your broadcast partners. But I find it really a sheer pleasure to work with you guys. You've got a great team. It's a very, very easy relationship, and I can't think of a better place for us to be able to talk about all the range of things that we want to talk about on Business Voice. So, Bob, thank you for what you have done and continue to do. Don't go anywhere. I hope I didn't put any ideas in your head. My God, I'd be very, very unhappy with myself if I had. And I say thank you for keeping independent radio alive. We need it, and I very much appreciate everything you've done. Thanks for coming on Business Voice.
Very kind words. Thanks. Very appreciate being on the show.
Yeah. Again, Bob Savage, owner of WYSL. You heard it here. We hope to have him on again because he's not going anywhere. And don't go away. We're going to be right back.
From coast to coast, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf. At Spectrum Reach, we make local businesses big and big brands look local. With the best content, insights, products, and people. Be on every screen with that one idea you need to turn a consumer into your customer. We're the most trusted media partner in America. And we're also your neighbors. Welcome to Spectrum Reach. Let us show you around the neighborhood. Grow your business. Go to SpectrumReach.com to get started.
The loss of a loved one can be an overwhelming time of hectic activity and high emotion. Remembering and celebrating the lives of those who have passed is important and fulfilling. A meaningful farewell, focusing on their life story, can help with healing. Some families turn to the clergy at their church to capture the essence of a person's life. However, those who may not be connected with the church may worry there is no one to fulfill this important role. At Bartolomeo and Parado, we believe that a life remembered lives on. One of our trained funeral celebrants can help you thoughtfully design and organize your loved one's treasured memories and ensure that the story of their life is not forgotten. Discover how you can create a meaningful farewell. Visit Bartolomeo.com or call us today at 585-720-6000.
WYSL.
Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Spectrum Reach. I'm Sarah Lentini, your host and also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm now delighted to welcome my next guest, somebody who's been on the show before, another guest who's been on the show before, and that's Matt Weinrich, who is one of the owners of Yeti to Work. Welcome, Matt.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate it and looking forward to joining you today.
Oh, yeah. It's great to have you back. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. And, of course, the co-owner, you and Corey Listar are co-owners of Yeti to Work, and we're going to be talking with Corey in just a minute about a new venture that you guys are embarking on. But, the existing venture, Yeti to Work, is a terrific one, and we love working with you guys and partnering with you guys. So let's start by talking about Yeti to Work, and you got to talk about the name because it's a great name, and it's a little confusing, but it's a great name.
Yeah, no problem. So Corey and I started up this business about almost 3.5 years ago now, and Corey could probably answer this better than I could, but he wanted to incorporate the name Bigfoot into the name of the company somehow, and he has a shirt that says it's a picture of Bigfoot with Christmas lights and presents and everything all over, and it says "Who's Yeti to party?" Well, I think him and his wife were going back and forth one day, like, who's Yeti to eat, who's Yeti for bed, and then I think maybe it was his wife said, who's Yeti to work, and then it kind of just clicked. It was, okay, that's kind of a cool name for a recruiting company. It's something different than, Weinrich and Listar Associates or
right.
Something generic. We just want to have fun with it, and, it's just kind of a different play on words.
Yeah, it's distinctive. Nobody else has this kind of name in the recruiting industry that I'm aware of, and you're right. And of course, you've got an equally distinctive logo. We can't show it to people because it's radio, but you've got a really cute logo of a really cute, not an intimidating, but a really cute, abominable snowman, really cute Yeti, Yeti, in case people aren't hearing us. And, and it's just a lovely image and a memorable one. And that's really what you want. You're right. Names, a lot of firms would have, the owner's names, and it would maybe sound a little bit more traditional, but this is great. And so you said it in your comments a minute ago, you're a recruitment firm. So what kinds of positions do you recruit for? What's your geographic area? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, when Corey and I started, we made a conscious decision to not really pick a specific niche to focus on. And in fact, we were like, our background comes from recruiting anything from laborers up until executive level positions from multiple industries. So we decided to more focus on, working in a region. And, since we're both in Rochester, we picked, Western upstate New York as our primary focus. And typically we work with smaller and medium-sized businesses. We actually have, I wanted to mention this, we actually have a partnership with the Grease Chamber, which you alluded to earlier, which gives discounts to chamber members if they ever want to, if they ever need help with their hiring needs. We give a percentage of the fee off. And then part of the fee goes to the chamber, which then obviously gets used to, increase the value for everybody, the services everybody receives. So, we're excited about that. We've had a few successes with that relationship along the way, and it's been good for us, and I hope it's been good for you guys. But we work on everything from sales to IT to manufacturing and pretty much everything you can think of in between. So,
well, answer your question, it's been very good for us, and we love working with you. Before the Greece Regional Chamber even entered into, a partnership and an agreement with Yeti to work, I think I told you guys at the time, I talked to many people that had worked with you, had been clients and customers of yours, and to a one, they all raved about you, working with you and Corey, and they really confirmed what I and we were feeling all along, that you're extremely responsible, you're smart, and ethical and very knowledgeable. And, those are really the ingredients that we were looking for. Missing any one of those could be a little bit of a problem, and you weren't missing any. And no kidding, your customers love you. And ever since we've entered into the partnership, it's given us the ability to extend the services that are available to Greece Regional Chamber members at a cost that's below what they would pay if they weren't members. So there's clearly a member benefit. And then, of course, it also does help to support the chamber, and that's because you're being generous in the partnership as well. So I'm glad to hear that that it's been good for you. It's very good for us and for our members. So I don't know if there's anything before I let you go, because I know you've got a big new venture that Corey is going to talk about in a moment. Is there anything coming up with Yeti to Work, or are we going to get to hear from you again soon? It would be great to have you guys come back on the show and give us a further update on what's going on in the job market that you're seeing.
Yeah, no, we'd absolutely be more than happy to come back anytime. And I think as things are opening back up, people are getting more comfortable gathering in person. I hope we all see a lot more of each other in the very near future.
Yes.
The job market, has picked up quite a bit since, I would say, late August, early September. And I think it's just more of people learning how to work more carefully and smarter during this pandemic. Things obviously shut down for a while, and then, businesses, had to keep running, so they figured out ways to do that, efficiently and with, masks and being more socially distanced and sanitizer and all that good stuff and temperature checks and things like that. So we've actually seen quite a bit of new jobs here the last couple of months.
That's great.
We have plenty of things, available right now. And, if you're ever in the market looking for a job, you feel free to reach out to myself and or Corey, or, like Sarah mentioned, if you're a chamber member and looking to make a hire, we'd be more than happy to talk to you about, helping you out at a reduced fee as well. So
that's great. And what is the website, Matt? Is it Yeti to Work?
Yep, YetiToWork.com. That's YetiToWork.com.
Got it. Wonderful. All right, Matt Weinrich, one of the owners of Yeti to Work. Such a pleasure to have you back on Business Voice once again, and we hope that you come back real soon and give us an update. Thanks for joining us here today on Business Voice.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Sarah.
You're very welcome. And now on the line we have Corey Listar, the other owner of Yeti to Work. We were just hearing from Matt Weinrich. And Corey is here to talk to us about an exciting new venture that he's working on that's really an outgrowth of the work that he and Matt have been doing with Yeti to Work. Welcome, Corey.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So for starters, let's hear the name of your exciting new venture.
It is called Bongo.
Love it.
It's an abstract type name.
Yeah, you're good with names. We were just talking about the fact that you really wanted to have the abominable snowman somehow in the name of your recruitment company, Yeti to Work, Rochester's talent acquisition specialist. But now with Bongo, tell us what that is, because that could be any number of things, right? It's a great name, though.
Yeah, no, it's actually, there is no real meaning to it. It's just like a Google or something like that. It's Bongo. We had some help with this one.
Oh, did you? Are you at liberty to tell us who helped you?
Yeah, we work with a company called Idea Pros. They're based out of California.
Oh, cool.
And it's almost like Shark Tank. So you apply, you go through a process, and if you're selected, you can they take equity in part of your company, and they help you with marketing. They help you with the actual development of the product. So we've been working with them for 2 years. Yeah, and they help, with market research, and based on the product, they helped us come up with a name.
That's great. But before you had a relationship with them and before you had a name, you had a concept, right? What
Correct.
is Bongo? What's the concept?
Bongo is a new way for employers to connect with job seekers. We being in the recruiting business for so long, and most recently, we've been focusing a lot on, skilled workers. Some younger people coming into this industry. They're hard to find, and we tried putting our jobs on platforms where maybe they would see our jobs, and it just doesn't seem like they were going on job boards any longer. So, since we couldn't find anything, we decided to build something, and that's what started it.
That's great. I love hearing that you encountered an issue or a problem, and rather than just sort of putting your hands up in despair or, heading in another direction, you took on the challenge of trying to solve the problem. I think that's great. That's I don't know whether you want to be put in the league of others, but Rochester, it's great. Rochester's known for ingenuity, innovation, creativity in business and in other arenas, and it's nice to know there's a next generation of folks, and I'm counting you and Matt in that league, bringing us forward with exciting new ideas. So Bongo, so it's a platform for connecting job seekers and employers. Is it an online platform then?
It is. It's and part of what we want to do. It is online. It's going to be on your mobile devices as well. And what's going to make it different is that eventually we're going to be on other platforms.
Oh, nice.
So streaming devices, gaming systems, and then part of the attraction to it, and what's going to get other people rather than just the traditional job board users using us, is that we're going to reward people for taking certain actions in our system.
Oh, wow.
You'll get points for conducting searches or uploading a resume, and then you can redeem those points at a later time.
And when you redeem the points, what do you redeem them for?
It's going to be, digital downloads of games and maybe coupons in the future, music eventually. But right now it's going to focus on gaming.
Oh, very cool. I mean, that sounds like fun. That sounds neat. There's nothing. People like to be rewarded. There's no doubt about it. And a game reward sounds like a very nice one to me. And I'm assuming there are a lot of choices.
Yes, absolutely.
Terrific.
We're working on the abundance of choices right now.
Okay.
Yep.
You're probably aware of just how many choices there are. So is it going to cost any? I mean, how does Bongo generate revenue? Is it who's paying to be where?
The employer, the company looking for employees, just like they will use Indeed or ZipRecruiter, same type of concept. They'll pay job seekers no charge.
Terrific. And I know that you mentioned you've been working with this company from California, if I heard you correctly, that's really helped you very carefully it sounds like a very careful business plan together. And this is it's also, a concept or at least a product that's protected, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's really yours. And Bongo's an exciting new product. So, as you move forward, sort of what's the next step? When will people be able to get on Bongo? Is there already a way to do that? How can they get involved?
Well, very soon we should have a landing page with some information coming out. It's going to be at trybongo.com. We are planning on going live, if all goes well, in January of 2021. So
That's
just
great.
A few months away.
Wow. So you're busy.
Yeah,
You're busy.
We're definitely busy.
Yeah, the holidays will be a flurry of activity for you between I'm sure your personal life and your business life. So when you are up and running, we would love to have you back. And I just want I know you may not be quite ready. You haven't quite launched. You're coming to us early, which we really appreciate, to announce this exciting new venture, which is a big deal. This is a whole new way of connecting job seekers and employers. But what was that web again? Was it TryBongo, T-R-Y, Bongo.com?
That's correct.
TryBongo. So TryBongo. I feel like I'm about to burst into song. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. It sounded like it.
I know. I restrained myself. I probably shouldn't have really shared that with anybody. But anyway, so TryBongo.com. TryBongo.com. All right. Corey Listar, Yeti to Work, and Bongo, TryBongo.com very specifically. Thank you so much for coming and giving us a preview of the launch of your exciting new company. And you've got to promise to come back and visit with us at the beginning of 2021. Will you do that?
I would absolutely love to.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Corey, for being here today on Business Voice. That just about wraps it up for us here today on Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Spectrum Reach. I'm Sarah Lentini, your host and also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. And I just want to thank our guests today. Once again, Jeffrey Motter from Spectrum Reach, Bob Savage from right here, our own WYSL, and both Matt Weinrich and Corey Listar of Yeti to Work, and now the brand new venture, Bongo, TryBongo.com. Do come back and listen to us again next month, and check us out on the web at greecechamber.org. Until next time, be well, everybody.
You've been listening to Business Voice. The Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce serves businesses, nonprofits, and individuals throughout the region, focusing on promoting economic and community development and serving as the voice for business. The Chamber offers networking, education, advocacy, community events, and business services. It serves as an important platform for business leaders and citizens to come together in support of common goals.